All right, welcome to Wealth Cartel Legends, where we talk about how hindsight is a motherfucker.
Our mission, guys, is to stop people saying, I wish I had listened, and to help people to capitalise on everyone else's mistakes before making them yourself.
Yeah, in summary, our tagline says it all. Turn our hindsight into your foresight so you don't have to make the same mistakes that we did.
That's a $20 fucking glass of scotch because they wouldn't let us have a shot. We're actually at Bella Vista Hotel, guys, by the way. We should give them a shout out there.
Posted, we do tag them, yeah. Bella Vista Hotel shout out. We should put in our intro, actually.
Yeah, they're letting us recording here for free. We need to fix the lighting, but other than that, we're pretty good.
Write them down.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the hindsight part. So before we get into the triangle of happiness and stuff, is there, if you look back from a kid to your early career, everything like that, is there anything that you can think of that shaped you into who you were, like big moments or anything, or anything that you would have changed? We'll get into specifics around money, etc. But just in general, at the moment, if you look back, is there any big moments that you can identify that changed you, or that you wish you could change to anything like that?
Yeah, in regards to my rugby league
just
career,
in general, just from a kid to
also mindset. Also, what was the one thing you look back that you could tell a kid now and say, if I had a change then, I could have fast tracked a certain thing?
Well, it's crazy because I'm old. And looking back, rugby league just came simple to me. I always loved it, so I always, I never did extras. I never committed. He used to run, 6 a.m. road runs to make it. No, I was always super competitive. As soon as we were there for rugby league, I would give my 100 every time. But that just sort of came naturally. It's not really until I had to change careers, like literally 4 years ago. It is the biggest mindset change I've had, because I've lived and breathed that since I was 7. So my mindset didn't have to change. I was always pretty easygoing and work ethic and the sort of the fame side, whatever. I'm pretty down to earth. None of that really had to change, and my mindset had to change. Was a mentor came along and said, "What do you like?" I'd retired from rugby league. I was 40. I'd been an ambassador for the Seagulls, New South Wales Rugby League. I was like 43, and he said, "What are you doing with your life?" Like I was happy with what I was doing, but I wasn't moving in any direction. And he said, "What are you doing with your life? Have you had your career? Have you not had your career? What are your financial goals?" And that made me stop and think, because until that time, like I always call this little bubble, I was just living in this rugby league bubble, which is not real. Yeah, it's real and you do it all, but it's not real life. Yeah. And you can't, some people coach and live in there forever, but it wasn't until I retired that I stopped and said, no, you have to think, because you have a whole nother career ahead of you. And that's probably the only mindset change that I can think of. There's no kid moment, because
you wish that it hit you earlier?
Yeah, for sure. I just wish I'd thought about it earlier. Yeah, what excites me, what wants, like I love doing what I do now, going mortgage broking and helping people, and that excites me, getting up every day like rugby league did. So to trying to find something that excites me like rugby league did before I was over. And this is the thing about so many footy guys, they get to the end, and because you've got to be, and I keep saying this, because you've got to be so focused, like, narrow-minded to make it in your sport, you sometimes don't have the not the mindset, but the mental capacity to bring something else in.
We've just never spoken about it, never thought about it. Is that something now the NRL, they do? Like the NRL does, like this life after league and stuff like that?
So much better, and there's training courses, and there's all these different
I remember when I was playing footy, all the boys that were getting signed and that, you would sign at, say, Manly, and then you'd do, I can't remember who it was, but one of the boys was signed at Manly. Might have been Tafua, I don't know. And they offered them a job as like a groundskeeper at the ground when they were younger and stuff. So they were starting to give them roles. But once you play footy for 13 or 14 years, do you want to go back to being a groundskeeper? Like
No, yeah, and that's part of the problem. And I think it's, you can be given a job or given options, but until you're ready to absorb those, so it's not, the NRL is so much better and there's things in place. But the analogy I always, when I talk about this, I say, I was in year 10 and we did history and they were doing the Coliseum and all this sort of stuff, and I was going, whatever. I'll retire and then go see it when I'm 38, and just, oh my God, and I'm reading and researching, and I was going, why didn't anyone teach me this when I was young?
But they tried,
but I wasn't ready to
absorb it,
open to say, no, don't just see this as something you have to learn. See this as history. See what it is about. So, and I think that's the same for rugby league players. Some might get it when they're 23, go, I understand I'm going to have two careers. I need to find a passion outside of footy. And some might not get it till they're 37 after they retire. But that's that.
But I think what me and you talked about, and we were working with Matty Ballon on this as well, is what I want to try and get in for these guys is majority of them, if you're in NRL, you're making good money, right? Like relatively good money. There should be more analysis or more. There is an emphasis. A lot of clubs do, the players just go whatever. There should be more of an emphasis on this is a short-term thing, likely. Yeah. You should be able to do enough during your career that at the end of your career, you have something there to give you the option. Because how many players do you see at the end and they're back concreting or they're doing whatever, right? Like if you do such a small thing and set it up on the outside, it should be almost a part of their salary.
You know what's crazy, but like what's hard with that is imagine being 18, 19, 20, taking this wage. I know I'm 31. I've only started earning good, like proper money the last couple of years. I mean, I was always on okay money, but I spent all of it. If I was from 18 to 25, even if someone said to me, like we were talking about, mate, save your money. I don't know, put 50 grand away a year or put $1,000 because you're going, fuck that. I'm driving a Porsche and I'm going to go to the casino. I'm going to have 19 women. Like it's crazy.
But I'd love to see the NRL do like a, because you get well, footy players don't. You get super, right? So like as a business, you get super. As an employee, you get super. That should be a part anyway, so they're at least looked after from 60. But then they should be looking at something where they can, like 10% of their gross, right? Like they take it.
Well, I think it should be when the salary cap up. It's when it goes up 10% or 20%. No one gets paid anymore. We put that away.
Yeah, that's a fucking.
So if you pay for 10 years and bet on 200, you got 200 grand.
That's amazing.
Over the next 5 years, you get 20% of that a year.
Yeah, that's right. And then that way, like,
eases you back into the real world.
That's a cool idea.
Mate, even if you're on 100 grand a year, right, which is low end, even if you're on 100 grand a year, they take, say it's 10%, 20, right? 10%. At the end of 10 years, that's 100 grand. That's enough to go start a business. Like, that's enough. You know what I mean? Like, that's enough for you to.
I think if they did that as a slow release and said, listen, fellas, you've now got, this is the fucking real world. You've got 3 or 4 years to find your feet, but here we're going to help you out with your own money. It's not our money.
Right, that's right.
It's your own money. We're going to slow release. But once that's up, it's up. Come to terms with the fact you're no longer a footy player and use this, to create.
Find something, because I relate. Yeah. Rugby league is, you just finish high school. Like you just finish year 12. 10% of people know what they're doing and they do it. Everyone else goes, yeah, I'm going to be an accountant or whatever. They go to uni and they're 3 years in and go, it sucks. I don't like this. And then and it takes them 8 years and then they find something. Yeah. But you're doing this when you're 35 or 30, like different responsibilities.
That's a really common age for a what do you call it? Like a midlife. Bro, well, 40 years old, that's your midlife crisis years.
Well, if you play till you're 40, you're doing right. If you can retire
35
when you're 30, 35, but then you're going, do I want to go back and be a chippy? Or you know what I mean? Like you've got different pressures, financial pressures, family pressures. When you're 19 and you finish high school, there's no pressure.
The part that would fuck me up is getting out of bed and
that's tough.
but having that career for 20 years is a long career, but say 10 years and you get out of bed every day to a schedule, to someone telling you what to do, and you got to be down at Manly, Brookie at 6 a.m. and then you work with them for 2.5 hours, and then you do your rehab, and then you do all this sort of shit, and your life's just made up for you. Yeah. For me, I would just not know how to do that. Like you were saying,
the same thing happens in the army. The same thing happens in the army. It's the exact same. When I left the army, the hardest thing. I'm really good at doing stuff, but the hardest thing, especially in my business, was knowing where to start. Yeah. What's my first step? I can do it if you tell me what to do, but where do I find it?
Someone give me a list and I'll go through that. And
I feel like that cleaning the house. That's what I feel like cleaning. I got to look at my house and I'm like, fuck, where do I start with you? Kids. Yeah. But I think the other issue is there's so many snakes out there that prey on the NRL that it's hard to do something like that, because if you want to do this, so many people that have their finger in the pie that can really, you've seen it with heaps of players, they get ripped up and then you lose trust and you think, I'm better, I can do it better myself, you know what I mean?
And I think I think they are getting better, and there's people with better intentions out there, but I've played with seen thousands of players over the years, and I could count on two hands the people that have come out of it super financially viable, which is crazy, right?
And generally, when they come out of it super financially viable, it's all of other investments and not rugby league money.
Well, and I think the players these days, and the NRL is doing a lot more. There is better options out there, but I haven't played for 10 years plus, so this is pre those years, but it's some crazy numbers, I think.
10 years? You finished in 2014.
Yeah, well, in the NRL.
It doesn't count as Super League, you know.
No, it counts.
That was the nines. That was the nines.
How long did you play then? How long did you play Super League?
5 years.
So how old were you when you went over there?
30,
the oldest player in Super League.
36. 35.
Yeah.
A couple of months off 40 I was.
How was the transition, Manly boy your whole life? Then you up and moved there.
Bradford, downtown Bradford we moved to.
What was that like?
It was tough. Look, I never signed 1 year deal, so it was always just
like ready to go home.
Well, no. It was just maybe I won't like it. Maybe my body won't hold up.
Yeah.
I'd get towards the end and go, mate, I just love playing. I think I can still compete at this level. Can I have another contract? Yeah, let's go. But it's.
Did you win a comp over there?
No. We only played. I think we only played finals once. Had a couple of tough years, but it's just different, But I enjoyed it for the experience. Like we trained pre-season in snow, and you're catching the ball, and it's
crazy.
Snowing, and you get to train. You're putting full tracksuits on, beanies, like every day for training. Like here, pre-season training, like in the 30+ line, my skin.
Yeah, that's not for me. I couldn't do that. Oh, there's no way. It's too cold.
And then it's getting dark at 3 o'clock in the morning. You get used to how cold it is. I remember I'd get in the car and I'd look at the temperature, and it'd say like 2 degrees, 3 degrees, and you'd be freezing. One day I got in and it said 7 degrees. I literally, how good's this? Wound the window down. It's how good's this? Boom. Driving a train in the dark, like at 7:45.
All right. Well, let's take some of your lessons, mate, and then we'll go into using it as some people's foresight. So one of the things that we've created is a triangle to happiness. So we believe life's all about finding happiness. People think it's money or whatever, but it's not. At the end, it's what the money does to you, etc. And we've come up with this balance between the right focus on money, the right focus on living your life, so your lifestyle, and then the right focus on health. Right? Without either one of those in the right balance, you can't be happy. Right? If you don't have enough money, you can't enjoy it. If you don't have enough health, you can't do anything. If you don't live a lifestyle, what's the point? Right? So this is what we're going to get into and go through. So the first one, money is there. I guess the balance of money is around sustainability, opportunity, and necessity. Talk to us about some of your biggest lessons money-wise. What do you wish you went back and did earlier? Some of the mistakes you made. Just talk to us on your biggest tips that you can pass on to the.
I've had a couple of bad investments, a couple of things that went like it wasn't crazy, and I think just not trusting people as much as you want to. I'm a very trusting person. If someone says something, I believe it. If someone says something to me and I answer, that's the truth, right? I'm going to hold up whatever I say, whether I sign the dotted line or not. That's it. So I think coming from an environment that's you need to trust each other in rugby league, the mates next to you, or you don't succeed. So that's how you have to be built. I'm sure the Army's the same. So you go in the real world, and I've seen so many mates burnt because they're with a guy, he's his mate, it's all good, business partner, sweet, trust. I'm sure this is in the real world, but trust, boom. And then they lose what they've worked so hard for, bashing their heads against, like playing rugby league. So I think it's, just not have better people around you, but just don't be so trusting. You need to upskill because your skills aren't in
money,
the world of business and money and these other things that you have. Yeah, and people want to be a part of it because you've got
you've got the skill of earning it, but not essentially,
and a reputation and a bit of a name or something.
Yeah,
like
we talked about one of the things as well. I spoke about you that when we wanted to we wanted to do some stuff for the Manly guys and that as well was. You have this. They think athletes, especially footy players, they think because they earn it so much so quickly. You think if I can invest this, I can make heaps more. If I lose it, I'll just make it again, right? And it's not guaranteed. But it's the same as business people. I find when talking to you, you still need to. These athletes, you need to stop trying to make money for the sake of making money.
Make money quick.
Don't try and invest and go and make it because I want more. Do you need more? If you don't need to invest across your career to achieve your goals, there's no point taking the risk. But if there is, you need to find that purpose. What's the purpose of the investment? And trust the right people, rather than someone coming, give me your money, I can make you heaps more. Well, that's a red flag straight up.
So I think I play rugby league, that earns me the money, and that's all I'm good at. But hey, I've got to do something with this money. Hey, I want to, and it's cool. I want to be an investor too. So this is what I want to do. I want to own a business. I want to build units.
You got to find that purpose. You got to find that purpose.
But you don't know how to do that. If you want to do that, then upskill to learn how to do that. But it's cool to do that, right? I want to own a property portfolio.
Yeah, I think the red.
Do you know anything about properties?
No, you don't.
Which are good and which ones are bad and what? Like literally, but that's what.
I think the biggest red flag should be when people come in and say, and their pitch is, I can make heaps more money. Like, that should be a red flag. It's we work with, this is a bit of a plug, but we work with the Shaw guys pretty close, right? And they're brilliant. They're brilliant stock, and because it's all risk-adjusted return. So it's all about, we invest your money in line with the purpose. But what do you want them? How much do we need to grow up by? What do we need it for? And they invest in line with that, rather than saying, give me money, I'll make as much as possible. That's the red flag. And I've seen so many athletes get burnt by that shit, especially with property. Give me money, property doubles every 10 years, let's go. And you go, like, next minute, broke. Gone. Like,
Ryan and I had the first conversation we sat down with, he sort of said to me, what do you want to do? Like, what is it you want to do with your money? And I was thinking, fuck, I think you're supposed to tell me that. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm here for.
In my mind, I'm saying, well, mate, I can make it. You just tell me what to do with it. And he goes, that's the biggest issue. You need to tell me, because he said to me, if I tell you what to do with your money, you're not going to listen. But if you tell me what you want to do, we can section that off, and whatever's left, I can show you what to do with it. And I was like, I went home to this, and I was like, fuck, this bloke's that good. He's going to let me spend cash. You know what I mean? In my mind, like, I tell the boys now, I had a mate tell me the other day, I can't think of who it was, but I've given them your number. And he was saying, like, how good is he? It was my sister as well. She's like, I don't want him to tell me I can't holiday. And I said, he's fucking not going to tell you. It's your cash. And she's like, yeah, but I went and seen his financial advisor. He told me I can't go on any more holidays because I spend too much money on holidays. And she was like, and I said, what'd you do? And she said, told him I'm not paying him and left. I'm not that, like, you know. So with that, like, on that concept of money, I feel like I've always earned cash. Like, I was a plasterer by trade and owned my own company, and then had a few boys work. I always earn it. Had no idea what to spend it on. And I knew I had an addiction of spending it. So what we figured out was, he was like, well, you're a spender. Time to start spending it on shit that makes you money. And I was like, well, what is that? And he was like, well, find something, figure out what you know how to do, and make you cash. And I was thinking straight away houses. And I was the same as you. I was like, I don't know how to build them. Fuck knows if I know anything about the market for them, you know. So I'm not going to do that straight away. But I agree on that. I think that's a great point.
Do you wish you outsourced earlier? Do you wish you had great mentoring of footy? I think, like, you had a great little support system for footy. Do you wish at all you outsourced or got a better support system on the outside for your personal stuff?
It wasn't too bad. I had a really good accountant at the time. And, he just said, you need a goal for your money. You're earning good money, go and buy a house worth X amount of dollars. And I nearly fell off my chair. I went, well, shit, that's too much. But he said, you need to have somewhere for your money to go before you spend it. Then after that, and I'm more of a thrifty tight ass than a spender. So I'm the opposite scale. But I was, like, as a kid, I was always a good saver. My brother would just go bomb, and his would be gone. I'd have spent $2.
Then he got married.
No, there's no more to spend. It's all gone. But look, it's one of those things that I didn't spend much on. I think I bought one car in my.
So you're a terrible example, because you sat on your money anyway.
But I needed somewhere to put it, or it just would have sat there. So he said, go and put it somewhere. So you use it efficiently.
A good accountants are so key to being successful. I think. I don't think a lot of people in life, they go through life thinking accountant does a tax return and that's all they do.
Yeah, but
I know that's how I felt. I was like, why am I going to go pay big money for a dude to give me a tax return? Fucking, I'll do it myself. And then I met my accountant and I was like, what have I been doing? He just controls everything for us. He just sets us up. This is what you do. Like, he'll send me an email with all this JobKeeper stuff and everything going on with the businesses. And he will send me, the EDMs go out, but he'll send me a direct email, or one of them will, and say, this is what you're entitled to, mate. This is why. Like, and I understand it now and before I literally just handed money and waited for money to come back. I didn't know what it meant, you know, so.
And I think on the outsourcing part, it's like, you always say all the time, which I think is the craziest thing. You don't know what you don't know. But you say, well, as a footy player, outsource, well, I know how to run and pass and tackle. I've got an accountant. Yeah, there's so many other pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
Did you know there's this, and this? Have you thought about this?
And
you go,
It's that bubble.
What do they do?
But
you know what I mean? Yeah. But until someone says, hey, this is the real world, this is life, right. And you need all these aspects looked after. This might be like superannuation. Yeah, you don't really have, do a little bit, but you know what I mean? Until you stop and explain what that is, you're in this. The
bubble is brilliant. It makes sense. The bubble is brilliant. The bubble it sits really well with what we try and do. The bubble, because the fact of the matter is it doesn't matter whether you're a rugby league player, a financial advisor, in construction. At some stage or another, you're secluded to that business or that trade, and you've got no idea. Like with me, I own teeth whitening companies. They're gone now. Sold those, but me and my wife bought teeth whitening companies first. Charles. I've got veneers.
Oh, how are they?
Mate.
Do they come up on the TV? You can't have missed those.
Yeah, I got veneers. Well, you can't own a teeth whitening company and be walking around looking like you chewed rocks. So we owned.
You did look like you chewed.
I did. We owned and sold them, but then we bought art. Like we own art companies, franchises, right? I'm not an artist in the slightest. I've got no idea what I'm doing, but people, and this is where I've sort of gone out of the bubble now, exactly what you're trying to do, and going complete opposite of what you know. Ryan's an army dude. Ryan's heard exactly what he's seen going on within the army, and the stuff happening with people in the army not understanding how to run look after their money. He's swung it on its head. I feel like people who are successful, they adapt. The chameleon lifestyle, being able to adapt to whatever happens is crucial. Yeah, like when you're stuck in a bubble for so long, it's fucking hard to come out.
It's hard because all your mates, everything you live in, like you're at high school, you hang with your mates. All you do is you hang with your mates at school, you go to class, then after school you go and hang with your mates again. Then you leave high school, your mates are still living in the same area because you got different jobs, you never see them. Yeah, but you're living.
I think the bubble thing too. Going back on that is, I love that analogy now, because when you're in your bubble, especially if you're a gun, right? Like, and if you're an NRL player, if you're a UFC fighter, to be an NRL player, you're in the top. You know, how many kids play footy, and you're in the top whatever percent to make it there. So
they play NRL top 300 people. I think, right?
Yeah, so you're the best in that bubble, and it can be very easy. That can take over the rest and think I'm the best at everything, because that's your bubble. You're the best in the bubble, but you don't. You know what I mean? Like same in business, you can be the best at your job and think I'm a gun at this. I don't need help with anything else. But that's why it's really. I think, like I always say, the earlier I wish I'd known what I didn't, learn to know what I didn't know, and control what I control. Those two things would change my life, because at the start, I was like, I'm a gun at what I do. I must be great at everything.
Yeah, and it's so hard to tell a kid that. Imagine me going home to a 15-year-old son and saying, you don't know what you don't know, son. He's thinking, Dad's been drinking again.
I didn't know that, Dad.
Yeah, he said it to me. The first time he said it to me, I was like, what the fuck are you saying? But I thought about it, and I was like...
Stupid, but it's the best ever, right?
Such a good analogy, because there's no other way to put it. You know, I say it is what it is a lot. He hates it. I say it is what it is.
No, I love it.
Blatantly, you know, I think you just hate how much I say it.
I do.
Through COVID, we had to shut all of our businesses, and there's so many other people going through the same shit. For about 2 or 3 days, I remember just moping like a girl. I was just like, and then I woke up, and it was a flick of fingers moment. I went, fuck this, I can't complain about this. There's heaps of other people going through the same shit. Just get on with it. And we managed to upskill and upscale and grow through it, mainly based off of the fact that we didn't complain. And I'm not saying that there's nothing to complain about, but if you focus on that complaint and you focus on that, you're not looking forward.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of analogy of what Ryan's got is, if you don't know what you don't know, if you just start understanding, you can learn that. You can always learn. That's where you start like leveling up.
Yeah.
I think.
What about let's move on. That's money. That's a good one. Ooh. What about health? So that's a big part. Obviously, you would have seen, you would have played years, and you noticed now you probably got injuries coming out of it. What do you think, going back to your younger self or young kids? What's some of the number one, both physical and mental, that you would pass on so that long term would be better?
Your mental health is a big topic. It probably wasn't around as much when I was young or coming through rugby league, and it's just probably in that sense, just making sure your mental health is as good. You're working on that as much as you are your physical body, because in rugby league it's all about physical health and eating and all this sort of stuff. But the mental side of it is getting kids these days, and it's the society is making the mental health side harder and harder. So we just got to be conscious that we do understand that is part of
it's a real
the
thing.
overall health.
You understand it's a real thing.
That's right. So there's physical health and there's mental health, and some days you can have bad days and good days. That's part of life. Like some days I'm tired, some days I'm not tired. Like until we realise it's real and it's a part of society and life. And
that was what he said. He said the same thing. He pretty much said he thought he wished that he had have known earlier that it was a real thing. Like I remember thinking, I just don't, someone says someone's depressed, you're like, whatever, like what's depression? Until something happens to you and you go,
just think you'll be right. You'll be right.
Yeah,
but that's not what it's about.
Yeah, no, it's not.
You don't know what you don't know.
No, that's true.
That's exactly what I said. So what about physical health? Is there anything you would pass on yourself as a younger footy player, a younger guy to make sure that
Mate, he's a specimen. How
old are you? Did you have any injuries?
46.
46 walking around.
I did a medial ligament and fractured eye socket and a broken finger and a partially dislocated pelvis. Do
you reckon Highmarsh ever had a fucking injury? It's a flop from flopping on people.
Bruises on his stomach. Someone's got their elbow up and he flops. They couldn't put a bad bruise.
I still love you, Honey.
Because I'm real pasty. I think I'd look after my skin a bit better. Literally, I'm taking off after this. I've got to get a couple of things burnt off my face and like just little nick. Like
especially living out there, especially living out on the beach, it's hard not to be in the sun.
It's like anything. Like when you're young, you don't think about what's going to happen in 20 years. You think about what's happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
So maybe that's probably one.
Yeah. Okay. Lifestyle. So, we can get caught up in the world of working and cruising forward and just trying to make money and
being
save.
a successful 20-year NRL player.
Yeah, that's right.
Caught up in that.
But obviously the whole point we do is to live. Now you're lucky, right? You're like me, where your career was your passion, so you were living every day you played. But is there anything you'd pass back or look at that you wish you could, to enjoy life in case tomorrow's not promised? So. You talked about right. You looked at the Coliseum, you visited, and you're like, holy shit, it's amazing. Is there anything you'd pass back to yourself to maybe increase your lifestyle, or what you, if you had the perfect lifestyle, what you would pass on that you were happy with?
No, I think just to stop and think, what do I want to do? What do I enjoy doing? What do I want to? Because I think we're so caught up, whether it be work or in the little bubble of rugby league or whatever it is, you can get carried away in, and you can just look up and it's been a week, it's been a month, it's been a year, and you just until you stop and have a think, what do I enjoy doing? Whether it's I need to make, I love my business and I want to be successful, but hey, I need to see my kids every arvo. And I think COVID sort of kicked a couple of people in the butts and go, hang on, I've been at home and I've been seeing my kids at 3 o'clock in the arvo and I'm kicking the footy with him one day and we're going for a bike ride and just said, hang on, do I need to work? Do I need to get home at 6? Hey, business partner, twice a week I'm coming home at 3.
I love that.
What do you just stop and think? Because you don't stop and think.
Be conscious of it, yeah? That's the consciousness of it.
Because
it keeps
you just
coming
keep
up.
flowing along and we keep doing it. And then I think, I enjoyed golf. I'm happy for that. Or, my wife works and she's bits and pieces here and there, but you need to stop and make time for yourself and think, what do I enjoy? Do I need to do more of this or that?
I think your recent moves help with that too. You know what I mean? I've seen you guys really enjoying your family time and doing stuff. You guys were so busy before, and then you do a lot more breakfast on the balcony.
Yeah,
is that something you've chatted about and sort of said, you know what, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make effort to do something like this.
Bits and pieces a little bit, and again, it's saying something is one thing, actually doing it it's even with where my business is at the moment, and it's organising the time and stopping either the night before the morning and say, what do I want to do today? Because otherwise I get caught up. Someone will ring and that'll be a thing to do with the Seagulls that I've got to talk to this guy. And then I go, oh my God, like I've just lost 4 hours. What the hell have I done? So I'm really trying to plan and organise my day to say, what do I need to do?
You need Trello.
What do I need to do?
You need Trello.
I'll show you.
Check it.
Yeah,
I'll get back onto that. Sorry.
That's right. All right, so we're going to summarise up now before we finish up with a sort of a one takeaway for someone for each thing, right? So if you were to give the youngens or young guys one money tip, takeaway, what would it be?
One money tip?
Doesn't have to be advice, just more so.
No, they're more actually write down how much you spend. Spend a month and then go back and
do a budget, Steve. Is that right?
This is a bit of a hot topic. I don't spend much, but there's not much money at the end of the account. Yeah, look, I don't think people realise how much they spend. And that's me.
So track what you do.
Track what you spend and then...
Be realistic.
Yeah,
don't just wing it. Yeah, cool.
That's
I like that. All right. What about number one health tip takeaway? What would you pass on?
Health tip. That's a tough one.
Hey, son.
I don't want to be a moon man and just say, don't watch out for your skin.
Watch out for your skin.
That's a bit nerdy.
But I think there's a lot of people that
we do a lot of
take that.
Keep moving is a good one. I think I stopped for a couple of years after I played. And
you're looking lean at the moment. Are you training now or something? What's going on?
I don't put it. No training, nothing. I don't put on much weight. So
no training. No weights, no cardio, nothing.
Once a week I play touch, but I missed it a couple of weeks. No, I'm pretty good.
47. If I'm not training at 40, if I'm not doing nothing, I'm 150. I just put a kilo in a month for the rest of my life. I'm struggling now. Fuck.
All right, number one lifestyle tip.
Lifestyle tip.
Right, living your best life.
Find something you love doing and do it. Find something that excites you.
You said before as well, you said stop and think. Stop and think about what.
Yeah, I was going to say stop and think. I didn't know whether that was I thought I'd get the answer wrong. Has anyone ever got the answer wrong?
No. There's no wrong answer.
Is there like a buzz you could have buzzed?
No, the only wrong answers come in the money part when people start. The only wrong answers come in the money part when people start saying shit they shouldn't be saying. Cut it. Stop, man. You're wrong. All right, cool. So summarize it all up. If you were to pass on, just in a sentence, what you'd say to those after you, those coming through, what's something your favourite little bit of advice you'd pass on?
There's probably a couple that to kids if I ever go to school or something, and there's another one sort of for later, and I always just say to kids, and I sort of touched on it, do something you love doing. I love playing rugby league. Sometimes that's a career. If you love poetry, you can't potentially earn a living off poetry at this stage, but you might, whatever you love doing.
You might be the first person to do that.
Well, just whatever you love doing, do it.
If you can't earn money, do something you can earn money to support it.
That's right. And the other one that I touched on very early is either find a mentor or try and be a mentor to someone. Sometimes it's hard for people to say, hey, can you be my mentor? Because you're up the top and they're down the bottom sort of thing. So offer to be someone's mentor, because mentors can guide you, and sometimes it's hard to be a mum and a dad or a family member or someone that.
Well, we love that because ultimately what we're doing is we're trying to mentor kids via bringing mentors of ours in. Yeah. So anyone we will interview is someone we respect in their respective trade, or someone that we feel can add value to the kids we want to mentor. So essentially, that's exactly what we do.
And you find the people, you learn so much as a mentor too. Like when you're mentoring, when you're trying to pass something on that you thought was good to someone else, how to do that, and then you sort of picking holes in it yourself. Like it's a brilliant little.
You learn. You teach yourself, Nelly.
Yeah.
You're telling them, and you're thinking, "Fuck, I'm not really following that. I should really listen to my own advice at times."
Yeah. Like that tackling thing. Remember, I said, "How do you tackle?" And I had to write down how to do it.
Like that budget thing,
Just plugging the budget.
I've got the budget here for you, actually.
You do not. All right, so let's give yourself a plug, Steve. So what are you doing now?
I'm a mortgage broker. I've plugged myself about 10 times. No, I'm a mortgage broker with Citywide. I've been doing about 3.5 years. Love it. It's like, ticks a lot of boxes. You solve a puzzle of someone's, what they want to achieve and how you can get them there. And you help them buy the biggest purchase they'll ever make, or save them money, refinances. It's a pretty cool.
And I will say, Steve is my mortgage broker for my clients, and he's very good. He's not just a pretty face and a brand.
That's true.
He is a really good mortgage broker, so reach out if you need him. Who do you want to connect with that you can help or that can help you, and how? So who's some people that can get in touch with you now, both clients and people you want to help as well?
Obviously I'm on Instagram. You can just get me there. Steve Menzies 11. Otherwise, I just want to help people that need advice. My favorite clients are first home buyers, just because it's that mentoring thing. I explain the scenario, how it works, what the process is, and even people that have been with banks for years, and you just explain what a mortgage broker does and the value of of getting good service from either your bank or from another mortgage broker.
What's the difference between success and failure? Good mortgage broker.
That's right.
It's a rewarding job, mate, to see someone walk into their first home and there's not a lot more stuff. That's probably the proudest moment to a lot of people that don't have kids. That's their proudest moment in their young life. So that's pretty cool to be part of.
You can save people so much money for refinance when they've been in a bank for 20 years, and you go and say, I can save you 11 grand a year on your home loans just if we move you elsewhere. They're pretty exciting about it.
Yeah, you do a good job. What about is there anyone on the business front you want to connect with? Like, is there any people that can, not just clients? Like, is there anything else you're looking
on Picasso.
No, look. I just enjoy helping people. Like if someone's got a question, they've already got a broker, they just want a second opinion. I'm happy helping. I know I can't do everyone's mortgage, and I'm just as happy if someone calls me and says, "Can you have a look at my stuff?" And I look at their stuff and saying, "You're on a good deal."
That's my favourite.
That's cool. I know I can't do everyone's mortgage, and I'm cool with that. As long as you're getting looked after, I'm happy.
And that's why I use you, because I'm the same. I turn away people that I don't think about. I give them a tip or whatever. And I've been through that many mortgage brokers, guys. But the reason I stuck with Steve is he did that. He would coach them, and we've even started looking at implementing a cash flow program for those that can't do something with their mortgage to make sure that they can. So highly recommend. Do you want to shout out any of your other businesses? Any of your golf stuff or anything like that?
We've got Pure Form Golf. We custom fit and build golf clubs.
You're going to have to sort that out. I'm due for a new set. I've had those pings 6 years now.
As your financial advisor, can you stop paying money to everyone we get on here?
No, this is what I do. Network my money.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he's good. About a couple of grand.
We still got to have a hit of golf. We haven't.
Yeah, let's set up.
It's ridiculous.
Let's go.
You're the hardest. You know what I did? Yeah, we were supposed to play with Bray. Brace, if you're watching this, it's your fault. You know, we're teaming up Royal New South Wales. You, me, Brace, and Dad for Dad's birthday. I ended up paying about $3.5 grand on the weekend to get him down to the snow for his birthday present because it was taking too long to get this golf.
Yeah, you're worried about me spending cash. You spent $3.5 grand in 2 days.
It cost me about $3 grand, mate.
No, I was in. Brace, it was your fault.
Yeah, you should be busy with this new sports management. Shout out, Brace. All right, cool. So, what's next for you? What's coming up?
No, just working on the business. Just looking after the kids sport. They're on every Saturday. Just living life and enjoying it.
Yeah,
stopping and thinking, doing a bit more planning.
Some stupid Fox skits.
Some silly hanging with Fletch and Heidi.
Get us involved in one of them. Get us on one of them Wealth Cartel. Just get a background of Wealth Cartel in there.
Yeah, when we need to
get fluid in their sponsor.
You know, come in when they film a Matty John show. I'll get you in there.
Let us know.
We'll get you in. Yeah, when it's back on. As in the crowds, when we get the crowds back in.
Yeah, that'll be on.
Well, you know what we should do in the next Manly game? We should get a Wealth Cartel's logo as one of the crowd members.
Man, I'm not a fan of Manly. I'm a fan of Beaver, but not Manly. Oh, you can't be a Roosters fan and like Manly.
No, that's probably true. That's fair enough. I get that a bit.
All right, mate. Well, thanks heaps for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you need your mortgages, go sort out Steve. And other than that, we'll see you soon.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.